start with Lysa. What's the rationale behind that?
Oh yeah, look, it's pretty simple. Scooter's last couple of weeks, they've been a little bit down on his own performance and what we expect from him and need from him, and we feel as if he's been working out there pretty manfully and carrying his body around a little bit. We gave him a freshen up not that long ago, and he came back and played pretty well. But I think the overriding factor here is that Pete Laddams has been playing such good football in the SANFL that, as we've said all year, if you play really, really good football, we've got to give you an opportunity. And if you're off for a week or a little bit off, you leave yourself open to that opportunity, and that's what's happened here. So Scott obviously is disappointed and wouldn't totally agree with our decision, but from our point of view, we think we've given the opportunity to Pete, who deserves that chance.
Form, not injury.
Yeah, it's a bit of a combination, which Scott, again from his own point of view, thinks he's probably been okay, but we are looking at him and thinking it's not quite happening for us at the moment. So we're going to give someone a chance to play there.
He's not injured though, Scott.
No, he's not. He could have been picked. There's no doubt about that. Could have been picked. So he's available for selection, and we chose not to pick him based on his output and what Pete's output's been.
So at what stage does a guy's performance in the twos hold more precedence than what the guy's been able to do in the ones?
I'm not quite sure what you mean, Theo.
Well, I just wondered, how does Pete's performance in the SANFL, at what stage does it reach a point where what he's doing is more attractive than what a guy's doing at a higher level?
I think there's a balance between what's going on at both games, and Pete can't do any more. He's been killing it at Magpies level. I think everyone would appreciate that. I think his last game was quite special. So Scott's form has been okay, but there comes a time when the replacement's got to get a chance. I think we've done that pretty well all year. We've rewarded pretty consistent form below.
What's Scott not? I mean, objectively, he's been in good form. Champion data would have him, not all about numbers obviously, but as the seventh best player since Paddy Drott hasn't seen in the whole competition.
Yeah, I think he's.
So what's he doing wrong?
I think he's had games where he's been really good, like a period of time where he's outstandingly good. His last couple of weeks he's been a little bit off. It's as simple as that. He just hasn't quite provided us with the contest that we want in a full game situation for a ruckman.
Feels like the intent was really strong against GWS. Just can't get that forward sort of mix right. Is that you're still trying to find what that best?
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges we're trying to find is how we can get some opportunity to score a little bit better. And some of the decisions we've made this week are around that. Is how do we get more score into the team, and we're doing our absolute best to make sure we can give ourselves a chance, because it would be foolish to sit there and say we're getting it right and not do anything about it. So we're continually making some movement in that area to try and fix it.
A lot of heat on the club obviously this week. Keith, for example, came out with a note to the members. What do you make of all of that?
It's not my place to make too much of it, other than that we appreciate that we haven't been performing as a football club the way we need to, and that's why all that attention comes on us. Purely around our performance, I think, and if our performance was better, we wouldn't have this situation that we have now.
Are you feeling the heat yourself, or are you feeling the heat?
No, not at all. Other than I'm feeling the heat that our side's not performing at the level we wanted to perform at, because it's a pretty important part of the year.
Ken, you're very passionate about this footy club. Are you as committed to fulfilling your contract and your end of the bargain?
I've said that before, Tom. Yes, yep. There's never been a doubt in my mind.
And for you, it's 2 more years for your contract.
Yeah, again, I think that's a personal question that probably should stay personal, but I think it's pretty well reported where my situation is.
Ken, is the setup with your tools, and you said when you first brought Lycett in with Ryder, Dixon, Dougal was probably the one that caught you off guard because he's emerged as a key at both ends. Has it been a juggling act and a struggle to find the right balance, fitting them all in?
Oh, it's not so much. Yeah, well, I think the results would say that. So I think that's probably something we shouldn't ignore. We're trying to figure out the best mix that gives us the opportunity to score consistently. At the moment, in the last few weeks, we certainly haven't had that right with whoever that's been in that spot. So we're continually to look to make that adjustment to try and get the mix right amongst the players that are there. And we haven't had Paddy and Charlie and Todd in the team together. So we're having a look at that this week. We sit here with knowing that we've still got some room to improve in that area of the ground, and we're not going to give up on trying to get better.
Is Peter, will he get first crack in the ruck, or you haven't worked that out yet?
Oh, he'll play a lot of ruck time. He'll be selected as a replacement for Scott, and Scott's typically played 60-70% time in the ruck, and that's what we expect from Pete. Now that doesn't mean we have to lock into that, because we have got Paddy in the side who can go and play in the ruck as well. And we often use Paddy slightly different, even with Scott in the side. We occasionally give him a look at centre bounce a bit more than Scott at times.
Are you close to knowing what your best 22 is?
Yeah, our results would suggest that we're still trying to figure it out because we haven't been able to score the way we'd like and win as often as we would. I think any side that's in our position at the moment, you continue to explore. We have an idea of what we think our best 22 together can look like and play like, but at the moment we're not performing that way. So.
But you made I guess the most unforced changes in the competition. Do you think that's had an impact on team cohesion this year?
I'm not sure. We're making those decisions based on the fact that our team hasn't been winning as consistently as we would. So we don't make change. We can sit there and be questioned about being happy with where we are, and we're making some change based on the fact that we're not winning as well as we should.
How might that affect consistency though, Ken? If you made more changes unforced than anyone else, how might that affect the consistency of the team?
Yeah, it's the same question, isn't it? It's a relative question to why have we made the change? We've made the change based on the performance of not being as consistent as we want to be. So, you know, it can be a little bit of both. Yeah, we're making change to try and make us more consistent, or are the changes we're making you inconsistent? But we're basing it on form, and I think we've been really strong on that all the way through the season.
Is the list a little top heavy? You've used 8 key forwards this year. Is that something that might there be some tough calls?
Well, it would suggest, no, not tough calls. It would suggest that we haven't had the form from those people that we would like. There's a couple of young forwards in that group who are really, really young and talented players who have got lots of growth, and we expect that will continue to happen. That won't be immediate, but we continue to look like that might happen. We've had an issue with Charlie with a significant injury all the way through the season, and we've had some form issues with some others. So I think there have been pretty obvious reasons as to why they've been mixed and matched a bit.
No-brainer to bring Charlie back in?
Sorry?
Was it a no-brainer to bring Charlie back?
Well, no-brainer. I'm not sure that's the right language, but it was a decision that we had to look at and make based on, again, we had a game last week. We held an opposition to 56 points and we couldn't score more than 55 ourselves. So we have to look at the ways to that. And we know when Charlie's in our side in good form, he helps us score.
So what did you see in the Sandford last week from him that's giving you confidence that he can deliver tomorrow?
He just played a pretty solid all-round game, I thought, and played a game where he hit the scoreboard himself. He creates opportunities for others to hit the scoreboard, and I think we've seen that last week. And I know it's at a level under, but that's the only level we get to look at. So we've got to base it on what we see.
You've got 5 players over 197 centimetres tomorrow, so one of those in the ruck most of the time. Are you a little bit tall, given
Yeah, I don't know. We played a side
with Essendon's pace and the way they've transitioned the ball their back line.
It will work one or two ways, won't it? We'll mark the ball on them and we'll have opportunities, or the ball will hit the floor. We expect our blokes who are in there can still put an enormous amount of pressure on, and we think we can balance that out pretty well. So we're hopeful that we can cause them equally as many concerns, and are they sitting there thinking about our opportunities versus their challenges. So game of selection, it's always are we, ain't we? Leading into a game, after the game, the normal response is you got it right or you got it wrong. It's just what happens.
Does Westy play back again, or what's the sort of plans with him tomorrow?
Well, we'll work through it. I don't think I should sit here and tell John and everyone else at Essendon what we're planning to do, so I'll do my best not to do that. But clearly he played okay down there last week, so he's an option for us.
And not close, or you want to see another strong performance in this end?
Yeah, we're hoping to get Stephen into some really strong form. I think that's he's working his butt off, and has done it at AFL level too, and he's just been a little bit. He's sort of close, but not right there. And I think right now, giving him a chance to, because we've got players in those spots that are playing okay.
Does this team have Howard and Lysett in there with Marshall, with Dixon, with Ryder?
Once we get to that point, if we see them consistently play well, I'll let you know. But we like any side. If everyone's playing well, anyone who's playing well usually finds a spot in the side. I think that's pretty easy. But we have to play well first to have that confidence that can be that.
So where does Dougal fit? Dougal's been good up forward as a swing man. Down back he's been outstanding as well. Charlie sort of complicates things by coming back in.
Yeah, and that's what happens. We're working really hard on that. But you're right about Dougal. He provides great flexibility, but he by his own admissions, knows that he hasn't been. He's been really just battling away and trying to hold up for us, but it's not quite working for him. So we're giving him a spell.
Essendon bringing in Orazio Fantasia, or Fantasia, depends on how you want to pronounce it. Is that a player that you would like to see at Port? He's an Adelaide boy and potentially might want to come home.
It's a poor question.
And Ollie Wines hopefully back next week.
Yeah, hopefully. Again, Ollie was desperate to put his hand up this week to play, but we just think we're doing the right thing by him. He's had such an interrupted year that to give him a bit more training gives him a chance to perform somewhere near his best.
What makes Fantasia dangerous then? If it's it's not a good question to have him here. What makes him dangerous, and if you're playing against him?
I think it's pretty obvious what makes him dangerous. He's an elite player who kicks goals, you know, and in a really talented Essendon forward line. Him, Tip and Woody, those type of players there together, the combination together makes them really dangerous, not just one player.
What do you have to focus on then, Ken, to beat them? I know you always say it's about what you guys can bring, but I think Essendon's strengths.
Oh, look, we've seen their rebound game. Everyone's aware of their, you know, their speed around through the middle of the ground. They've got a great group, you know, and what have they won? 7 or 8 out of the last 8 or 9 games. Equal form of anyone in the competition. They've won some close games. You know, they're a pretty good package overall. I think everyone would admit that. And you know, as I said, their speed off rebound, their speed around the middle of the ground, and people like Stringer and that up in the front half. And we talk about Fantasia, Tip and Woody. They're a pretty dangerous side.
Is the season on the line for you tomorrow, Ken? It's the last one.
Pretty.
Game outside the 8 with 4 to play.
It's getting close, isn't it? It's getting real close. You know, but our job is to turn up and play well this week, and again the week after and the week after that, and that's what we'll be doing right to the end of the year. And hopefully the end of the year is further away than people think at the moment.
What reaction would you expect if mathematically you're not a chance to make finals? What reaction are you expecting from David and Keith?
I'll worry about that when we get to that point, because it's way off at the moment.
It really hasn't entered your mind, given the predicament?
No, not one bit. I know exactly what to expect of our key leaders of our football club, and that is that we expect strong performance all the time.